All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. It's your brother Rabbi Nat coming out with a lesson, Lord's will, satisfying. My camera's all messed up. Won't even sit up anymore. Guess it's time for a new one, but hey, we're gonna make it work, man. We're gonna make it work. I was on the Bible app this morning. You know, today's I'm all over the place. I want to read the scripture of the day. Okay, because that's what it was going into. It was going into the scripture of the day. In John, the precepts in John 11 and 25. So I want to go over there because I don't really have nothing to talk about. You know, you feel like you said it all, but there's so much to say, man, and you got to keep saying it. You got to endure until the end. How you doing today, sir? All right, I'm glad you speak English. You never say hi. You know, you say hi. There you go. There you go, brother. You have a blessed day. You know me, he be walking by acting like a damn fool, but now I guess he speaks English. That's the spirit, man. He was acting like a damn bug out before. It must be because it's Juneteenth. All right, the precepts in John 11. Precepts in John 11 and 25, but I'm going to start in John 11. Book of John, chapter 11, verse 1. Now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. Yeah, let's look at this word Lazarus. Okay? Let's look at Lazarus, man, because, you know, our names had a significance. They had something behind it. So you can look in the Israelite name and knew you were going to get something out of it. Okay, so that's why we're going to look into the name. Okay, John 11 and 1, it says Lazarus. Let's see who Lazarus is. It says, whom God helps, a form of the Hebrew name Eleazar, an inhabitant of Bethany, beloved by Hamashiach, and raised from the dead by him. It says a very poor and wretched person to whom Yahweh Shai referred to in Luke 16, 20 through 25. Let's go over there real quick. Let's give me Luke 16, 20 through 25. Let's go over there. Luke chapter 16, verse 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate. Actually, we can start up more. No, that's actually perfect. Luke 16 and 19. There was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. So Lazarus means whom God helps. And who does God help? God helps his people, the Israelites, okay? You know who the Israelites are? You're an Israelite, young man. You know that? How you doing? How you doing today? How you doing today? Luke chapter 16, verse 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. Yeah, a beggar. So you asking for change, you know, which is a representation of the poor, the Israelites. That's who Lazarus represents. And the rich man represents Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He's rich. And you're at his gates because you're poor. Okay, that's why y'all come over here to America, because you're poor. You seek a better opportunity. You seek a better life, so you come over here. That's you coming to the gates. Okay? Begging them, protesting, asking for rights and shit. Because you couldn't do this in your own country, because in your own country, there is no rights. You know, you're being oppressed by your own people. Okay? Ultimately, it's Esau setting that shit up, man, because he runs the whole world. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 21. As a matter of fact, let me jump over to the book of Matthew. I think it's Matthew chapter 15. Matthew chapter 15. In verse 21, then Yahushua went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Zidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. Okay, so why would he say it's not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs? Because the promises, the commandments, and everything in the Bible belong to the Israelites. Just like it's not meet to cast your pearls under swine because they'll rend you, okay? It's the same way as you telling these heathen that salvation's for everybody, man. That's you taking the children's meat and casting it to the dogs, man. That meat could have been used to feed your children. You don't feed the dogs with that. That's the same thing with Abraham's promises, the covenants, the testimonies, the prophecies, everything written in the book. That belongs to Israel. And the main part of that is salvation. Okay? It's the book of Luke, chapter 16, and verse 21. In desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. Yeah, the dogs coming and licking your sores of people coming from different countries and prospering over you, okay? Doing better than you, getting loans better, faster than you. They won't give your ass a loan, but they'll give it to Elon when he brings his nasty ass over here to America. He's your doctor. He's everything, man. You don't think you'll get the same opportunities? It's all by design. Ultimately, the reason why you don't get these opportunities like that is because of the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that your pastor refused to go into. But on this street corner, hey, we're going into all of these scriptures, man, because this applies to us, okay? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Exactly, and thou shalt be the tail. Okay? And thou shalt be the tail. That's why you're the lowest. The tail's on the bottom part of the animal. That's why you're the lowest people. Because of these curses, man. This is what happens when you break the laws. All right? Celebrating these wicked-ass holidays, man. You got to get out of that wicked-ass mindset. That's Jake, though. That's why you heard that reggae in the background, because Jake was riding around with Eve. She was dancing, and she was looking at me like a demon. Being a demon, man. Lamentations chapter 1. And Lamentations chapter 1 and verse 1. How doeth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How was she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princes among the provinces, how was she become tributary? Yeah, how did you become tributary? How did you end up being paying people shit when you were supposedly you're the Israelites, right? You're under King David, King Solomon. You know what happened? What happened to you? She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Yeah, they become her enemies. Okay, it's talking about these heathen nations because you had them in subjection at one point. They were paying tributary to you. How the hell did the nation of Israel become tributary to the rest of these nations? Are they even asking that question? No, because they don't even think they're the people. So why would they ask the question, the most logical question? If you knew who you were, you would ask that question. But because you don't, you won't ask. That's because you're destroyed for a lack of knowledge, according to Hosea. Jeremiah chapter 13 and verse 17. But if ye will not hear it, my soul shall weep in secret places for your pride, and my eyes shall weep sore and run down with tears, because the Lord's flock is carried away captive. Yeah, the Lord's flock is carried away captive. And that's a damn devil who wants to turn his music up, because this word cuts these damn wicked ass Israelites, man. This word cuts them, but he's gonna die for trying to be trying to block the words of the Lord. Whether you hear the words of the Lord or not, you still gonna get cut. You don't think these prophecies are gonna be fulfilled? That's why there was a major cyber attack today. Do you know about that? They got your information. Okay, and they're gonna be using things like that for you to go take their MOTB. This is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Yeah, you're gonna be the tail, man. You at the bottom of society. Why? Because you've broken these laws. See, these laws were given to who? It was given to the Israelites on Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. So you didn't listen. Okay, so he took away your kingdom. He brought you down low, and that's why you're being persecuted, and you're in a very low state. Okay. Deuteronomy 28 and 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So these curses that you're going through, they're going to be a sign, so you can know, according to Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, who the Israelites are in these last days, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you speckled birds that are out there. Okay? Back in the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. So Lazarus is a representation of the nation of Israel. Okay, he died, and the rich man is the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. They both died. The book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 24. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Yeah, this flame is talking about the affliction that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is going to have to go through when he gets into the kingdom, because he has to pay for all of these sins that he committed against all these tribes that are on this side. What's the point of having a God that's supposed to be righteous and just and be the ultimate judge and have justice if he don't pay back the biggest criminal known to man, which is Esau? Okay, he's the elite. The Lord has given the earth to him, the whole earth. He runs it. That's why there's no peace. There's wickedness all over the rest of the world. Okay, Shalak Rayam to the so-called black woman. Okay, because she's wicked too. That's Eve. Okay, they're damn demons. Okay. Back in the book of Luke, chapter 16, and verse 24, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus. See, here it is in his torments. He's still trying to get you to go do something. Okay, when you draw water, that's a point of servitude. You dipping your finger in some water to bring it to the so-called white man, and he still thinks he has rule over you, even in his low state. That's his pride. Book of Luke, chapter 16 and 25. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receiveth thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. Okay, you're going to be tormented in our kingdom, just like you tormented the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You thought that wasn't going to happen to you, but it will. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. In verse 17, I'll start at Nashalakia. Let's start at the top. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So even though you broke these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Lord said, I'm going to have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So he's saying, even though y'all broke all these laws and I put you through all this shit, he's still going to choose you. Okay? This is like the Lord said the nation of Israel is like a woman unto him. So just because they have a domestic dispute, these other nations can't come in and just put themselves in between the nation of Israel and their God and claim to be the chosen people. Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay, so the Israelites are going to rule over their oppressors. Okay, the Esau Edom has taught the Bible incorrectly because this exposes him. The book of Isaiah 14:3, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Yeah, the hard bondage from which thou was made to serve. And you're still serving hard bondage, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But you refuse to hearken unto the Lord. That's why you're going to be destroyed. He sends his prophets out all the time, and you refuse to hearken to the words. That's why you're being ruled over. Isaiah 14:4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And we believe the king of Babylon is Donald Duck, who the Lord raised up. And Nero, he was the reason why Jerusalem got burnt down. He blamed it on the Jews. That's the same spirit that's in your king today. He's the king of Babylon, America's Babylon. And say, how have the oppressor seized, the golden city seized? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Who's the wicked? The wicked is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. They're wicked, according to Malachi, chapter 1. And you heathens are going into slavery too. Malachi chapter 1 verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet you say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob. Yeah, he loved Jacob. And I hated Esau. Yeah, he hates Esau. So the Lord doesn't love everybody. And I laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Okay, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So now we know who the wicked is. Back in Isaiah 14:5, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, which is Esau Edom, according to Malachi 1:4, and the scepter of the rulers. Your scepter is your power. He's going to destroy it. He's not going to have any power down here on the earth anymore. The whole earth is at rest. Slakia. Isaiah 14:6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. How you doing, brother?
Everything good?
Everything's good.
Good.
So what's going on is the persecutor is going to be persecuted. Why? Because that's his lot. This is the book of Proverbs. That's his lot. He was created for this day to show the Lord's wrath, just like he did ancient Pharaoh in ancient Egypt. When he split the Red Sea and he destroyed Pharaoh, well, he raised the so-called white man up for the same destruction. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 4, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So he made the wicked, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, for the day of evil. Gave him all this power to show, so the Lord can show you his power. Okay? Back in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. There's still prophecy. This is a prophecy that hasn't been fulfilled. Isaiah 14:7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. So when Esau gets persecuted, the whole earth is going to go into singing. They're going to be happy he's being persecuted. Isaiah 14:7 and 8, Salakia, yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Yet a feller is someone who cuts down trees. So the trees are going to rejoice. But it's symbolic of you different nations. He's been cutting you down with his military might. But now when he gets taken down, you're going to rejoice because he can't persecute and oppress anymore. Okay? This is the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 29. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 29. In verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. That's why you have nationwide protests, okay? Because in all actuality, the righteous need to be in authority, but as long as Esau's up, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all are gonna be down because wickedness is being propagated throughout all the earth. I don't wanna drop this, but I gotta grab it. As a matter of fact, let's put this here. I was in John 11. I can't drop that yet. Isaiah the 14th chapter, Salah. Let's grab this in the book of Maccabees. Chapter 1. So you have to learn your Bible. Esau Edom's blessing was the sword. So that's why he can conquer you. You can't fight Esau with the sword. Well, you can destroy him in the spirit because he's a carnal man. And that's why his kingdom's being destroyed. This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1:1. And it happened after Alexander, the son of Philip, which is Alexander the Greek. He's not great because only the Israelites are great. The Macedonian who came out of the land of Chittim had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians, in Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. So this is Esau coming into his power as the Greeks. Okay, why is that significant? Because he Hellenized you Jews. He made laws that you couldn't even profess yourself to be a Jew. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and 2, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. So the Lord raised up Esau to go take all these things down. Okay, 1 Maccabees 1 and 3, it went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. So when you win a lot of battles, you're gonna be proud. And that's what Alexander the Great did. In 12 years, he took down the Persians, which is 120 provinces. That's a very short time. That's like Afghanistan taking over your 50 states in America. It's unheard of. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. So when he won a battle, you would have to pay him taxes. That's what you call being tributary. And just like y'all are tributaries today. 1 Maccabees 1 and 5, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So when Alexander the Great was starting to die, he split his kingdom between his 4 generals. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, everyone in his place. So that's Ptolemy, Lasamaiacus, Seleucid, and Cassander. This is the book of 1 Maccabees 1 and 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. So this is Esau eating the so-called white man. The Bible said evils were multiplied in the earth when he started to gain power. And that's starting with the Greeks. Okay, the Greeks go back to Edom, because the original Greeks were Japhetic in nature. They were black. They destroyed them and took all their gods, all that Greek shit that they're not even original with that. They're original to Edom, all right? And we're the Israelites. This is the book of Isaiah 14 and verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And what are we starting to see? We're starting to see these other nations starting to come up. What are they trying to get? Weapons of mass destruction, supposedly. That's what they're saying, right? Well, guess what? As they're coming up, this kingdom's going down, okay? Isaiah 14 and 10, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? So that's what these other nations are thinking. That's why they're attacking Israel. They know they're backed by America, but now they're thinking America's weak. Look at their men, look at their society. Look how much they're in debt. They don't have the funds to go to war with us. This is the best time to attack them. This is the best time to build our missiles. This is the best time to get stronger. Isaiah 14 and 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. So the worms are a representation of something that's decaying. Okay? And the worms are spread under this kingdom. This kingdom is starting to be destroyed, just like every other kingdom. The Lord said there's only going to be one kingdom that's going to last forever, and that's the kingdom of Israel. Okay? Let me grab that for you. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2. Daniel chapter... I can't find it. Can't find it. Daniel chapter 2, 1208. 1208. Let's grab it. Let's grab it. Daniel chapter 2. This is the book of Daniel chapter 2. And Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So if the worms are being spread under thee, what kingdom is this talking about? Daniel chapter 2 and 45. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, and the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God had made known to the king what shall come to pass thereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation is sure. And that stone is talking about his son, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. His kingdom and his joint heirs are going to be ruled with the Israelites. Okay? Back in Isaiah 14 and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? See, a lot of people, Esau teaches the Bible, you think, who's Lucifer? He's the devil, right? Well, the word Lucifer, a lot of people think that. But Lucifer, in this context, is talking about the king of Babylon. Lucifer means light bearer. Okay, so you ever heard of the Illuminati?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what was going on with Diddy.
Right.
It was Diddy, it wasn't the Illuminati.
Well, all of this shit's the Illuminati. This is under their rule. They allow all this shit to happen.
Right.
You are right.
Yeah.
You know, but the Illuminati are the illuminated ones. They're the ones who run the world. And they're the Edomites that I'm over here cussing out for their wickedness. Okay? And we're the elite on the other side. We're the righteous, but we're on the street corners proclaiming that we want the Lord's will to be done down here on the earth. They're not doing that. They got all the power in the world, but they won't execute the law, statutes, and commandments down here on the earth because they're wicked. Isaiah 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, which are the Israelites. We're the real stars. You know, P. Diddy was a star, right? Well, he was a star of this world. Now imagine when you find out who the true sons of God are. Imagine you like, imagine if you seen the Lord. Everyone would want to be with him. Well, there's more than one son of God. When you read the book of Genesis, the first chapter, they help the Lord build everything that's here today. Because when you go into the Hebrew, that word God is plural, and it means Elohim, which is just talking about the powers. Okay? Isaiah 14:13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. So he exalted his throne over Israel, which is God's chosen people. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And that's prophetic, because we're in North It doesn't say North America. It's talking about the sides of the north. It's talking about this place. Isaiah is saying this a long time ago. Okay? And the only ones who can get this are the servants, the prophets. Okay? Isaiah 14 in verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And that's Esau. He thinks he's the Most High God. That's why he has cameras all over the place, because the Lord said, I can see everything in Ecclesiastes 23:19. So he wants to be like that. Now he wants to set up an MOTV, which is an RFID microchip, to put in your right hand or in your forehead. So basically what he's doing is fulfilling Revelation 13:16. He wants the whole world, because he's going to put you all into slavery.
That's probably the medicine that they gave everybody when COVID was going on.
Well, it's a precursor, because the way he can put fear into you, he's seeing who worships me, who believes me, who believes I can save them from whatever pestilence. It's me that you came to. So he knows how close determining on how many he actually took that, or we're getting close to getting full submission. But now this MOTV, it says those who buy or sell. So you're not going to be able to buy or sell. You're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. So how are you going to pay to where you live? How are you going to do it? You have to join this system. And this system is what's called the image of the beast. A lot of y'all worship the image of the beast and you don't even know it. Right now you're worshiping it by the things you believe. It's not about carving out a stone and praying to some false idol. The idol's inside of you, because he lies about this Bible. Okay? Isaiah 14 and verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So this is him. He's going to be brought down to hell. Hell is not some figurative place where you burn forever. Hell is a low state. Right now, I'm in hell. Esau's in his rulership. He's passing laws and doing all this, and he's afflicting all the laws of God, which makes us feel like it oppresses us. When righteousness is allowed, he gets oppressed, because he can't be wicked. He can't have Diddy sex parties all the time.
Yes.
He can't go and rape, rob, and murder the world. He has to pay for all these things. He can't just do whatever the hell he wants. So when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. But when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. People are not going to be protested in the kingdom to come, because everything's going to be fair. It's going to be righteous. You're going to be all right. You're going to see out. You're going to live longer. Ain't going to be no drugs, none of that shit. All that shit's done. And you're going to be happy to live according to the law. Isaiah 14 and verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And that's in the kingdom to come. Back in the book of Luke. That's the point of me grabbing that, because Lazarus and the rich man.
We'll be right back, because I still
Take your time. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16, and verse 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. So now Esau is going to be persecuted, and you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and those speckled birds out there are going to be comforted. Okay? Because that's who the promise belongs to. That's who salvation is for. That's who the kingdom's for. Slakia, book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 25, where Abraham said, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receiveth thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted and thou art tormented. So you got to go through it, man. That's why the only thing that's really going to comfort you in this world is not any drugs, it's not any fun, it's this word.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Luke 16 and 26, and besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf of fixed. So like it, go fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that will come from thence. So from the position that Esau is going to be in, and where Israel is going to be in, is going to be a great gulf of fix, just like there's a great gulf of fix with you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You can never get past the 500 years, and you celebrating your oppression today on June 19th like a damn fool. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16 and 27. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham saith unto him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. But Esau can't repent. We have the prophets out here. Is Esau listening to the word? No, because this word cuts him. He doesn't want to hear it. But guess what? You're going to hear it anyway. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for one morsel of meat, sold his birthright. Yeah, he sold his birthright to the nation of Israel. Okay? He sold it to us, man, to him. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. But he'll never get his blessing back. And that's why he's going to come down with great wrath, because he know he got a short time left. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 31. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. Yeah, you ain't going to believe if Moses came in the reincarnation and told you. Okay? You ain't going to believe it. The prophets are already here. You don't hear the report. That's why you're going to perish. He couldn't repent if he wanted to, showing you that the Lord's words are true. Proverbs 16 and 4 is going to be fulfilled. Jeremiah 49 and 20, the least of the flock shall draw them out. He's going into slavery. All right? It's as simple as that. Isaiah 14 and 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Yeah, you're going to be destroyed, Esau. You're going to be brought low. And the Lord's going to make it happen. He's going to make it where you get put up underneath the feet of Israel. Luke 14 and 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers should never be renowned. Yeah, you're not going to be renowned, okay? You're not going to be remembered for anything that you did on this side. Okay, this is going to be a memorial for wickedness. People are going to look at this place and think, watch, let me grab it. Isaiah chapter 66. Isaiah 66 and 23, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from the one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. So every nation is going to come up and worship before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be in abhorring unto all flesh. So this memorial of Babylon is going to be an abhorring to all of those who come worship in Jerusalem. Why? Because this place is still, the fire's not going to be quenched. Okay, eventually the fire's going to go out. But all these thermonuclear missiles, that fire is gonna be a time period where that burning is gonna be for a little bit. Okay? And it's gonna be remembered. They're gonna look at that of those who transgress the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Isaiah 14 and 21. They left before the good part of the verse came. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. So Esau likes to say, yeah, that was my forefathers. I had nothing to do with me. But this is saying prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor to fill the face of the world with cities. Who filled the face of the world with cities? Who filled the first city? Wasn't it Cain? Didn't Cain do that? Let's grab that in the book of Genesis. And I do want to jump over to John the 11th chapter. I didn't drop it. But, you know, the Spirit's like the wind, man. You just go with the Spirit. All right. Genesis chapter 4. And 4:17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. Exactly, and that's what Esau does, man. That's what Esau, same thing. It's the same spirit that's in Esau. He does the same type of shit. Where he'll build a city and then name it after himself. This is the book of Micah 2:2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Yeah, they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Okay, they cover fields and take them away. Okay, that's what they do. Okay, grab this in the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Psalms 49 and verse 11. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, in their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Exactly, that's Esau, man. They call their lands after their own names. Just like Enoch, Cain's son. What did he do? He built a city and named it Enoch. Just like an Edomite. Isaiah 14:22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. So if you cut off all the males, then you can't your kingdom can't be brought back, because your seed line is determined by the males. So if you cut off the males, eventually that abominable branch that the Lord's talking about Esau, it's going to be taken out. I will also make it a possession for the bittern in pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. Yeah, the besom of destruction is like a broom sweeping motion that's going to come across and destroy all of Babylon. Okay? And, you can go in the book of Joel. I'm right there. Should I grab it? Joel chapter 2. And I want to get to it. Joel 2:3, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as the strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pain, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Talking about those thermonuclear missiles. Okay, they're not going to crash into one another, man. They're going to make their target points. Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So the golden dome that he's trying to create, they're not going to be wounded. It's not going to affect them in any way. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the window like a thief. Yeah, that destruction, that besom of destruction. It's going to enter into the windows of the thief. Okay, talking about this thermonuclear destruction. Going into the Jeremiah 51:1, the destroying wind. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Exactly, that nuclear winter. Okay, it's gonna be done. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth this word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Yeah, who can abide the day of the Lord? How are you going to stand in the day of judgment when the Lord sends thermonuclear missiles? He said the earth is going to wail to and fro like a drunkard. How are you going to stand during an earthquake? How are you going to stand during the beast of destruction? You got to, you can't, no one can survive that, man. Okay? You're going to be destroyed. Isaiah 14:23, I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the beast of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. Exactly, he's going to sweep it. Just like he cleansed it before with water, he's going to sweep it with fire and brimstone from those thermonuclear missiles. Okay? It's the same type of thing, man. It's a cleansing agent. Okay? That's what he's using it for. These thermonuclear missiles, to cleanse this land of wickedness. Isaiah 34:11, but the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, the owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. So the line of confusion is you not knowing where one state was from the other. Okay, and where's that coming from? It's coming from these thermonuclear missiles. Isaiah 34 in verse number 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come upon Idumea, which is the Greek word of saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra, which is America, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Exactly, he's going to great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Why? Through these thermonuclear missiles. Isaiah 14 in verse 24, the Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. So he's saying his word is going to stand, okay? That no one's going to be able to stop him from bringing in this destruction. Isaiah 14 in verse 25, that it will break, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. So that's how he's going to redeem us from our oppressors, okay, through this thermonuclear destruction. And you can't forget about Yahweh Shai coming and destroying this place, okay? This is the purpose that is purpose upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. Yeah, this is what it is. This is the purpose, man. This is the hand that stretched upon all the nations, man. So he's going to hit this different targets. There's other places that are going to get hit too. Are they going to be utterly destroyed? No. Babylon is, Israel is, but Israel's going to be rebuilt. Isaiah 14:27, for the Lord of hosts have purpose, and who shall disannul it? Yeah, who's going to stop the Lord from fulfilling his purposes? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Yeah, who's going to turn back these thermonuclear missiles once they begin to be launched from the other side of the world? Who's going to stop that, man? There's no reverse button on these nuclear missiles, all right? Once they begin to be shot into the four corners of the earth, they're not going back into the silos, man. They're not going to be like Elon Musk in his SpaceX program where they fly up and, I changed my mind and make a scene for everybody, and everybody's rejoicing that these missiles didn't come over here and y'all can live a little bit longer in wickedness. That's not what's going to happen here, man. It's the beast of destruction, man. They were created for the Lord's indignation. He said, my sword shall be bathed in heaven and will come down upon Idumea, and it's going to happen. Isaiah 14:27, for the Lord of hosts have purpose, and who shall disannul it? And his hand stretched out, and who shall turn it back? In the year that King Ahaz died was this burden. Rejoice not thou, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. Yeah, and that's a dark saying talking about those thermonuclear missiles. Okay? That's what's coming here, man. That fiery flying serpent. As a matter of fact, I believe Vladimir Putin named it the Satan II missile. That's spiritual. Isaiah 14:30, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill thy root with famine, and he shall slay the remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. What shall one then answer the messenger of the nation? That the Lord have founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it. Exactly, man. We're going to trust in the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This is what's going to come to pass, man. All right? And I know I went around and about, but I'm going to jump back over here to John the 11th chapter. Okay? John 11. I couldn't even get the precept. John 11 and 2. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with an ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. And this is God, who God helps, okay? And this is similar to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Y'all are sick, man. Okay, you need to be healed with this word. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that saith he to his disciples, let us go into Judea again. His disciples say unto him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? Yahweh Shai answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Exactly, and that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing with this word now. All right, he's come to awake you out of sleep with this word. But not everyone's listening to the word. This is the book of John, chapter 11 and 12. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit, Yahweh Shai spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken to taking of rest in sleep. Then said Yahweh Shai unto them, Plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, Let us also go, that we may die with him. Then when Yahushua came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Yahushua was coming, went and met him. But Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Yahushua, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. Yahushua saith unto her, Thy brother shall rise again. Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. So she didn't think that Yahushua was capable of bringing back Lazarus in that time back to life. She was thinking about the resurrection. But the Lord came to heal him right then and there. Okay? John 11 and 25, Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Exactly, though he were dead, yet shall he live. But that's also twofold, man. Because y'all were dead, man, according to Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. Y'all were dead. Y'all didn't have Yahushua. Okay? You didn't have the Lord. You didn't know the difference between sin and all of these things. But now you do. So now you have the ability to repent and walk upright in a gross and dark world, walking in the light. Okay, so it's the same thing, man. He's with you. He's with us. He's with Israel, man. That's why we're telling you to repent. Because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And he performed many miracles. What makes you think he can't heal you, man? But you refuse to hearken to this word, and you keep on doing all these wicked things, man. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1, and he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins, where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Exactly. You know, walking in the children of disobedience. Esau, man. In 2/3. Walking after children of disobedience, after Esau. Okay? It's the same thing. Ephesians chapter 2 and 3, among whom also we all had our conversation in time past in the lust of our flesh. Yeah, we all had our times, our time in times past in the lust of the flesh. But then we repented, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. Yeah, we used to be just like that too. But the Lord pulled us out of these things. But God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, have quickened us together with Hamashiach. By grace ye are saved. Exactly, by grace you are saved. But we're quickened or made alive through this word, man. But you got to receive it. Okay? And that's why the Lord is saying this. John 11:25, Yahweh said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. Yeah, he ain't just the resurrection, man. He's the life too. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Exactly, though he were dead, yet shall he live, man. Okay? And then he raised them up. Okay? Didn't he? Didn't he raise Lazarus? Let me grab this real quick. Let's keep going. John 11:26, and whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? Exactly. Believest thou this? If you believe on me, you should never die. You will never die. You believe that? Do you believe that? That's how much you gotta put your trust in Yahweh Shai, man. That's your faith, man. That's what your faith need to be. That you believing on Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Man, you're not gonna die, man. Okay? That's the Lord. Tells you in Mark the 9th chapter, some of us, let's grab it. You're not gonna taste of death. He tells you to, in 2 Peter 1:10 to put on as the elect. So your faith need to be up. Okay? And your faith ain't gonna, even though faith is a gift, hey man, faith without works is dead. Okay? This is the book of Mark, chapter 9:1. And he said unto them, verily I say unto you, that there be some of them that stand here which shall not taste of death till they have seen the kingdom of God come with power. Yeah, there's some of y'all here that are not going to taste of death until you see that kingdom. And we're the closest to being these people, man. Doing exactly what the Lord said. We on the highways and hedges. We waking up, we're doing the work. We're watching, we're praying. You know, we can see the end of Esau Edom's kingdom. Hey, put on as the elect. Put it on, man. 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. It's like you'll never fall, making your calling and election sure, trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. John 11:27. She saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art Hamashiach, the Son of God, which should come into the world. Exactly. Yeah, she did believe, man. He did believe. Okay? As a matter of fact, when did he raise up Lazarus? Let me see, because there's a lot, and then I don't know where he raises him up. John chapter 11, verse 38. Yahweh Shai therefore again groaning in himself coming to the grave. It was a cave and a stone lay upon it. Yahweh Shai said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he have been dead 4 days. Yahweh Shai saith unto her, Said I not unto thee, that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Yahweh Shai lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Yahushua saith unto them, loose him and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. Exactly. So that's what he was there to do, man. These miracles were so that to wake you up, man. Okay. But that's what he did. That was a miracle, just like he did with I can't even think of his name. Legion. Okay. But I'm gonna end it right there. Lord's will, that was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Shalom, Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah.